I found my husband's second phone. My name is Caroline Mitchell, and I'm 41 years old. It was a Thursday afternoon in March when I found the phone. Such an ordinary day. I was doing laundry, which is basically my life now. Sorting through the mountain of clothes that somehow accumulates, even though it's just me, my husband Derek, and our 2 kids. I was going through Derek's jeans pockets before throwing them in the wash. You have to check pockets, right? Otherwise, you end up with tissues exploding all over everything, or a forgotten $20 bill turning into mush. His work jeans were in my hands. The dark blue ones he wore to the construction site every day. I stuck my hand in the right pocket. Empty, left pocket, something solid. I pulled it out, expecting to find his wallet or maybe some receipts. It was a phone, but not his phone. His phone was an iPhone 12 with a cracked screen that he'd been meaning to fix for 6 months. This was a cheap Android, one of those prepaid phones you can buy at any convenience store for like $40. My heart started pounding. Why would Derek have a second phone? I stood there in our laundry room holding this phone like it was a bomb about to explode. My hands were shaking. I pressed the power button. The screen lit up, no lock code. It opened right away. And that's when my life changed forever. The first thing I saw was the messaging app. One conversation. Just one. Dozens and dozens of messages. I opened it. The contact name was just a letter. J. I started scrolling, reading. And with each message, I felt like someone was pulling the ground out from under my feet. I miss you so much. Can't wait to see you tonight. Last night was amazing. I love you. My husband was having an affair. My husband of 14 years. The father of my 2 children. The man who kissed me goodbye every morning and told me he loved me every night. He was cheating on me. I sat down right there on the laundry room floor. Dirty clothes all around me. This stupid cheap phone in my hands. And I just stared at those messages, reading them over and over like, maybe if I read them enough times they'd say something different. But they didn't. They just kept saying the same thing. Derek was in love with someone else. I don't know how long I sat there. Could have been 5 minutes. Could have been an hour. Time just stopped existing. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Then I heard it. The garage door opening. Derek was home early. I panicked. I shoved the phone in my pocket and stood up. Grabbed an armful of clothes and threw them in the washing machine. Tried to look normal. Tried to look like a wife doing laundry and not like a woman who'd just discovered her entire life was a lie. Derek walked into the laundry room. Same as always. Work boots covered in dirt, tool belt still hanging from his waist. He smiled at me. That same smile I'd fallen in love with 15 years ago when we met at a friend's barbecue. Hey babe, how was your day? I opened my mouth but no words came out. I just stared at him. This man I thought I knew. This stranger standing in my laundry room acting like everything was fine. Caroline? You okay? Fine. I'm fine. Just tired. The word came out flat, dead. He walked over and kissed my forehead. I'll go shower. What's for dinner? I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. No worries. We can order pizza. He walked out whistling. Actually whistling. Like he hadn't just destroyed our marriage with a secret phone full of love messages to someone named Jay. I finished the laundry on autopilot, moved the clothes to the dryer, started another load. The whole time, that phone was burning a hole in my pocket. Every time I touched it, I felt sick. That night at dinner, I watched him, really watched him, looking for signs I'd missed. Clues that he was living a double life. But he was just Derek, laughing at our son's stupid jokes, helping our daughter with her math homework, stealing a piece of my pizza crust because he always ate his too fast and was still hungry. How could he be so normal? How could he sit here with his family and act like nothing was wrong? After the kids went to bed, Derek settled on the couch to watch TV. I told him I was going to take a bath. I locked the bathroom door and pulled out the phone. I spent 2 hours in that bathroom reading every single message, all the way back to the beginning. 6 months. This had been going on for 6 months. How had I not known? How had I not seen it? The messages told a story. Derek had met Jay at some bar after work. They'd started talking, exchanged numbers. It was supposed to be innocent, just friends. But then they met up again. And again. And then one night they kissed. And then it became more. The messages were so intimate it made me want to throw up. Inside jokes, pet names, plans for secret meetups. They saw each other at least twice a week, always at night, always. When Derek told me he was working late or hanging out with his buddy Mike, I thought about all those nights. All those times he came home smelling like beer and told me they'd gone to watch the game. All those times he was too tired to talk to me because work had been so hard. He wasn't tired from work. He was tired from her, from Jay. There were pictures too. Nothing explicit, thank God. I don't think I could have handled that. But pictures of them together, Derek's arm around someone. The photos were always cropped, so I couldn't see Jay's face clearly. Just brown hair. A glimpse of a smile. A hand touching Derek's chest. One message stood out. From 3 weeks ago, Derek had written, "I think I'm falling in love with you. I don't know what to do. I can't keep living like this." Jay had responded. "Then don't. Leave her. Be with me." Derek's response made my blood run cold. "I want to. I just need to figure out the right time. The kids, he was planning to leave me, not just having an affair, actually planning to end our marriage." I put the phone down and looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. My eyes were red and swollen from crying silently for 2 hours. My face looked hollow. I barely recognized myself. What was I supposed to do? Confront him right now? Call a lawyer? Pack his bags and throw them on the lawn? No. I needed more information. I needed to know who Jay was. I needed to understand how deep this went before I blew up my entire life. I came out of the bathroom. Derek was already in bed, half asleep. "You okay?" "You were in there forever." "Yeah. Just had a headache. Took a long bath." He mumbled something and rolled over. Within minutes, he was snoring softly. I lay there next to him, staring at the ceiling. The man I'd built a life with was a complete stranger. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I started spying on my own husband. I kept the phone hidden in my purse. Throughout the day, I'd check it obsessively. New messages kept coming in. Jay asking how his day was going. Saying she missed him. Making plans for that night. Derek texted back between jobs. Short messages. "Miss you too. Can't wait to see you. Tonight at 8. At 7:30 that evening, Derek told me he was meeting Mike to look at some new power tools. He'd be home by 10. He kissed me goodbye and left. The second his truck pulled out of the driveway, I grabbed my keys. I told my teenage daughter Emma I had to run to the store. Then I followed my husband. I felt crazy, like some character in a bad movie, but I had to know. I had to see with my own eyes who this person was that he was throwing away our family for. Derek drove across town to a neighborhood I didn't recognize. Nice houses, tree-lined streets. He pulled into the driveway of a small blue house with white shutters. I parked down the street where I could see but hopefully not be seen. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Derek got out of his truck. Before he even got to the front door, it opened. And there she was, Jay. Except it wasn't a she. Jay was a man. Tall, maybe late 20s, dark hair. Good-looking in that casual, athletic way. He smiled when he saw Derek. Derek smiled back. And then they hugged. Not a friendly bro hug. A real hug. The kind that lasts too long. The kind that means something. They went inside together. Derek's hand was on the small of this man's back as they walked through the door. I sat in my car completely frozen, unable to process what I'd just seen. My husband wasn't having an affair with another woman. My husband was having an affair with a man. Derek was gay or bisexual or something. After 14 years of marriage, 2 kids, a whole life together, he was in love with a man. I don't know how long I sat there. Long enough that my phone rang 3 times with calls from Emma asking when I'd be home. Long enough that the sun completely set and the streetlights came on. Long enough that I watched 2 other couples walk their dogs past Derek's boyfriend's house and wondered if they knew. If everyone knew except me. Finally, I drove home. I don't even remember the drive. I was on complete autopilot. When I got home, Emma asked where the groceries were. I'd forgotten I told her I was going to the store. I said they didn't have what I needed. I'd go tomorrow. She shrugged and went back to her phone. I went upstairs and climbed into bed with all my clothes still on. I pulled the covers over my head and just lay there, not crying, not thinking. Just existing in this horrible new reality where nothing made sense. Derek came home around 10:30 like he'd promised. I heard him downstairs locking up, turning off lights. His footsteps coming up the stairs, the bedroom door opening. "You asleep?" I didn't answer, just kept my eyes closed and tried to breathe normally. He got ready for bed and climbed in next to me. Put his hand on my hip like he did every night. That hand that had been touching someone else just hours before. I wanted to scream, to push him away, to demand answers, but I couldn't move, couldn't speak. I just lay there, feeling his hand on me and wanting to disappear. The next few days were the worst of my life. I kept checking the phone. The messages kept coming. Derek and this man, this Jason. I'd figured out his name from one of the messages. Jason Chen. I even found him on social media. He worked as a physical therapist. He liked hiking and craft beer, and apparently my husband. Derek's messages to him were so different from how he talked to me. More open, more vulnerable, more real. He told Jason things he never told me, about feeling trapped, about questioning who he was, about being afraid of what people would think. One message from Derek said, "I should have figured this out before I got married. Before kids. I've wasted so much of Caroline's life. She deserves someone who can love her the way she needs, the way I can't." That one broke me. I cried so hard I had to lock myself in the closet so the kids wouldn't hear. He couldn't love me the way I needed because he didn't love women. Maybe he never had. Maybe our entire marriage was built on a lie. Maybe every time we'd been intimate, he'd been thinking about someone else, or forcing himself to perform, or just going through the motions. I felt so stupid, so blind. How had I not seen this? Were there signs I missed? Should I have known? I started thinking back through our relationship, looking for clues. That time in college when he got weird after his roommate came out as gay. The way he never wanted to talk about our sex life. How he always seemed more interested in spending time with his guy friends than with me. The expensive gym membership he insisted on even though we couldn't really afford it. Were those signs? Or was I just creating a narrative now that I knew the truth? I needed to talk to someone. But who? I couldn't tell my mom. She'd have a heart attack. My sister would tell everyone. My best friend Lisa worked with Derek's sister. It would get back to him before I was ready. So I did what people do now. I found an online support group, Straight Spouse Network. Apparently there are thousands of us. People married to closeted gay or bisexual partners who had their worlds turned upside down when the truth came out. I read story after story that sounded like mine. The secret phones, the late nights, the emotional distance, the discovery that your spouse is in love with someone of the same gender. The complete devastation of realizing your marriage was never what you thought it was. Some of the stories had happy endings, amicable divorces, co-parenting successes, new relationships for both people. Others were nightmares, bitter custody battles, financial ruin, kids who felt betrayed by both parents. I didn't know which one mine would be, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this, pretending everything was fine while secretly reading my husband's love letters to another man. It had been a week since I found the phone. Derek still had no idea I knew. He kept up his double life: work, family dinners, bedtime routines with the kids, and then sneaking off to be with Jason whenever he could. I decided to confront him. Not because I was ready, but because I physically couldn't keep going like this. The stress was making me sick. I wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping. I'd lost 8 pounds in a week. Emma had even asked if I was okay. I picked a Saturday. The kids would be gone. Emma was sleeping over at a friend's house. Our son Tyler had a birthday party that would last most of the day. We'd be alone. That morning I was so nervous I threw up twice. I kept rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd bring it up, whether I should lead with the phone or just ask him straight out if there was something he wanted to tell me. Derek was in a good mood. He made pancakes for breakfast, sang along to the radio while he cooked. He'd probably been texting Jason all morning while I was upstairs getting sick from anxiety. After the kids left, Derek asked if I wanted to watch a movie. I said we needed to talk. Something in my voice must have given it away because his face changed. The smile disappeared. He looked scared. "What's wrong?" I pulled the phone out of my pocket and set it on the kitchen table between us. Just placed it there and waited. Derek stared at it. All the color drained from his face. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. He looked at the phone. At me. At the phone. At me. "Where did you find that?" "Your jeans." "I was doing laundry last week." Silence. Long, horrible silence. The refrigerator hummed. A car drove past outside. My heart pounded so loud I was sure he could hear it. "Caroline, who is Jason?" He flinched, like I'd slapped him. His hands started shaking. He put them flat on the table like he was trying to steady himself. Or maybe keep himself from running away. "I can explain." "Then explain. Explain how you've been having an affair for 6 months. Explain how you've been lying to me every single day. Explain how you're planning to leave me and our kids for some guy you met at a bar. I've read every message, Derek. Every single one. I know everything." He put his head in his hands. His shoulders started shaking. He was crying. My husband, the man who never cried, not even when his dad died. He was sobbing at our kitchen table. Part of me wanted to comfort him. 14 years of being his wife made me want to reach out and touch his shoulder, tell him it would be okay. But I couldn't move. I just sat there watching him fall apart. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." His voice was muffled by his hands. "God, Caroline, I'm so sorry. Are you gay?" He looked up at me. His face was red and wet with tears. His eyes were desperate, pleading with me to understand something he probably didn't even understand himself. "I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm confused. I've been confused for so long." "How long?" He took a shaky breath. "Since before we met. Since I was a teenager, probably. But I thought I could ignore it. I thought it would go away. I thought if I just lived a normal life, got married, had kids, that these feelings would disappear. But they didn't. No, they didn't. They got worse. Especially after Tyler was born. I started having these panic attacks, feeling like I was trapped, like I was living the wrong life, like I was lying to everyone, including myself. So you met Jason. I met Jason 6 months ago. I wasn't looking for anything. I swear I wasn't. It just happened. We started talking. He's gay. He's been out since he was 18. And he made me realize that I've been running from who I am my entire life. And who are you? I'm someone who's been lying to you for 14 years. I'm someone who married you knowing there was a part of me that couldn't fully love you the way you deserve. I'm someone who's hurt you in ways I can never fix. Are you in love with him? Derek closed his eyes. Yes. That one word destroyed me more than all the messages combined, because it meant this wasn't just physical. It wasn't just an affair. He actually loved this person. Loved him more than he loved me. Maybe had never loved me at all. Did you ever love me? My voice cracked. Was any of it real? I do love you. I swear I do. Just not the way I should. Not the way you need me to. You're my best friend, Caroline. You're the mother of my children. You're an amazing person. But I can't be the husband you deserve. I've tried for 14 years and I just can't. So what now? I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I'm scared. I'm terrified. Of losing the kids, of everyone knowing, of what my parents will say, of what your parents will say, of blowing up our entire life. You should have thought about that before you started sneaking around. I know. You're right, I know. We sat there in silence again. I didn't know what else to say. What do you say when your husband tells you he's gay? When your marriage ends not because of anything you did wrong, but because of something he can't control? Are you going to tell people why we're getting divorced? His voice was small, scared. What do you want me to tell them? I don't know. That we grew apart? That it just didn't work out? I'm not ready for everyone to know yet. My family, my friends, my work. I'm not ready. But you're ready to be with Jason. That's different. That's private. Nobody needs to know about that. I stared at him. Really looked at him. And I realized I was looking at a stranger. This man sitting across from me, sobbing and asking me to hide his secret. I didn't know him at all. I stood up. I need you to leave. Not forever. Just for today. I need time to think, and I can't do that with you here. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Go to Jason's. Go to Mike's. Get a hotel. I don't care. Just leave. He stood up too, looked, like he wanted to say something else. But what was there to say? He'd said it all. He grabbed his keys and wallet and walked out. I heard his truck start, heard him back out of the driveway. And then, silence. I was alone in our house. The house we'd bought together 7 years ago. The house where we'd brought both our babies home from the hospital. The house where we'd celebrated birthdays and Christmases and anniversaries. The house that was supposed to be our forever home. I walked through each room. The living room where Derek taught Tyler to play video games. The dining room where we had family dinners every night. The kids' bedrooms decorated with their artwork and posters. Our bedroom with the bed we'd shared for 14 years. None of it felt real anymore. It was like I was walking through a museum of someone else's life. A life that had never actually existed. I ended up in Tyler's room, sitting on his bed, surrounded by his stuffed animals. He was 9 years old. Emma was 13. How was I supposed to tell them their dad was leaving? How was I supposed to explain this in a way they'd understand? I called Lisa. I had to tell someone or I was going to lose my mind. She came over immediately. I told her everything. The phone, the messages, Jason, Derek's confession, all of it. Lisa held me while I cried. She didn't say much. Just let me talk and cry and rage. When I finally stopped, she looked at me and said, "What do you need?" I need to know this isn't my fault. I need to know I didn't do something wrong. I need to know I wasn't a bad wife, or not attractive enough, or not something enough. Lisa grabbed my shoulders and looked me straight in the eyes. Caroline, listen to me. This is not your fault. You could have been the perfect wife, and it wouldn't have mattered. This is about him, about who he is, not about anything you did or didn't do. Then why does it feel like I failed? Because that's what we do. We blame ourselves. But you didn't fail. Marriage failed because your husband couldn't be honest about who he is. That's on him, not you. Those words helped. A little. Enough to get through the rest of the day. Derek came back that night. Late. After the kids were in bed, he'd been staying at a hotel. He wanted to know if we could talk more. We sat in the living room, on opposite ends of the couch, like strangers. Or enemies. I want to be honest with you, he started. About everything. No more lies. Okay. I think I've always been attracted to men. Since I was a kid. But I grew up in a religious family. Being gay wasn't an option. It wasn't even discussed. So I just pushed those feelings down. Pretended they didn't exist. Dated girls in high school because that's what everyone did. When I met you in college, I really did care about you. You were funny and smart and easy to be with. And I convinced myself that what I felt for you was enough, that I could make it work, that being with you would fix me, but it didn't fix. You. No, it didn't. And then we got married, and I thought, okay, now I'm committed. Now I have to make this work. And when we had Emma, I was so happy. I love being a dad. I love our kids so much, but I still had these feelings, these attractions to men that wouldn't go away. I tried to be good. I tried to be the husband you needed, but I was miserable inside. And then I met Jason, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I could be myself. Like I didn't have to hide or pretend. I could just be honest about who I am. So, you chose him over us. It's not about choosing. It's about finally accepting who I am. I can't keep living a lie, Caroline. It's killing me. Well, living your truth is killing me. And it's going to hurt our kids. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about how Emma and Tyler are going to feel when they find out their dad has been lying to them their entire lives? Every single day. I think about it every single day. And I hate myself for it. But I can't keep sacrificing my happiness to protect them from the truth. At some point, I have to live my own life. What about my happiness? What about the life I thought we were building? You'll move on. You'll find someone who can love you the way you deserve. Someone who's not broken like me. You're not broken, Derek. You're gay. There's a difference. But you're a liar. You lied to me for 14 years. You let me think I had a marriage when really I had nothing. He didn't have an answer for that. Because it was true. Our marriage had been a lie from the beginning. I just hadn't known it. Over the next few weeks, we worked out the logistics. Derek moved in with Jason. We told the kids that Daddy and Mommy were taking a break. That we still loved them, but we needed some time apart. Emma was suspicious. She's 13. She's not stupid. She asked me point blank if Dad was cheating. I told her it was complicated. That Daddy was figuring some things out about himself. She said she knew. Something was wrong. That Daddy had been acting weird for months. Tyler took it harder. He cried. Asked if it was his fault. Asked if Daddy still loved him. I held him and promised him that none of this was his fault. That Daddy loved him more than anything. That some things between adults just don't work out. I didn't tell them about Jason. Derek begged me not to. He wanted to tell them himself when he was ready, when they'd had time to adjust to the separation. I agreed, not for Derek's sake, but for the kids. They didn't need to know everything all at once. We filed for divorce, uncontested. We split everything 50-50. The house, the savings, the debt. Derek would pay child support. We'd share custody, be civil for the kids. My family was devastated. My mom cried for days. She loved Derek, thought he was perfect, kept asking me what happened, if we'd tried counseling, if there was any chance we'd get back together. I told her we'd grown apart, that we wanted different things. I didn't tell her the truth, because Derek wasn't ready and because part of me was still protecting him. Even after everything, I was still covering for him. Derek's family was even worse. His mom called me in tears, said she couldn't believe we were giving up so easily. That marriage takes work. That we owed it to the kids to try harder. I almost told her. Almost said, "Your son is gay. He's in love with a man. There's no amount of trying that's going to fix this." But I didn't. I just said I was sorry. That sometimes things don't work out. 3 months after I found the phone, our divorce was final. Derek picked up the kids every other weekend. He'd bring them back full of stories about Jason's house. How cool it was. How Jason had a dog. How Jason taught them to play basketball. Emma figured it out first. She came home one Sunday and said, "Jason is Dad's boyfriend, isn't he?" I didn't lie to her. "Yes, he is." She nodded, like she'd suspected but needed confirmation. "Is Dad gay?" "Yes." She was quiet for a minute, processing. Then, why didn't he just tell us? Because he was scared. Of what people would think, of how you'd react, of losing you. That's stupid. I don't care if he's gay. I care that he lied, that he hurt you, that he destroyed our family because he was too scared to be honest. Out of the mouths of 13-year-olds. She was right. It wasn't his sexuality that had destroyed us. It was his dishonesty. His years of lying and hiding and pretending to be someone he wasn't. Tyler found out a few weeks later. Derek finally told him during one of their weekends. Tyler came home confused. Asked me if it was true. If Daddy loved Jason the way he used to love me. Yes, baby. It's true. Tyler looked at me with his big 9-year-old eyes and said, "Does that mean you and Daddy were never really in love?" That question broke my heart. Because I had been in love. Head over heels in love. I'd loved Derek with everything I had. Given him 14 years of my life. Had his children. Built a home with him. And to my son, it looked like none of that had been real. We were in love, Tyler. At least I was, and Daddy loved me too. Just not in the same way. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes people need different things. He seemed to accept that. Kids are resilient, more resilient than adults give them credit for. It's been a year now since I found that phone. A year since my life imploded. A year since I discovered that everything I thought I knew was a lie. Derek and Jason are still together. They moved in together permanently. The kids spend every other week with them. They've adjusted. Kids do that. They adapt to new normals. Emma is doing okay. She's in therapy. Working through her feelings about the divorce and her dad's sexuality, she says she's not angry anymore. Just sad that her dad felt he couldn't be himself. Tyler asks fewer questions now. He likes Jason. Says he's fun. Teaches him things. Derek seems happier around him than he ever was with me. That hurts to watch, but I'm glad for my son's sake. As for me, I'm figuring it out, day by day. Some days are better than others. Some days I wake up and I'm okay. I make breakfast for the kids and go to work and laugh at jokes and feel almost normal. Other days I wake up and I'm right back in that laundry room holding that phone. Feeling my world end all over again. Those days are harder. I'm in therapy too, trying to work through the betrayal, the lies, the feeling that I wasted 14 years of my life. My therapist keeps telling me I didn't waste anything, that I have 2 beautiful children and memories that were real even if the foundation was shaky. I'm trying to believe her. I joined a support group, real life, not just online. We meet every other Tuesday. There are 7 of us. All women married to closeted gay or bisexual men who came out after years or even decades of marriage. Hearing their stories helps. Knowing I'm not alone. Knowing that this happens more than people think. That it's not my fault. That I did nothing wrong. One woman in the group, Patricia, has become a good friend. She's 50. Was married for 23 years before her husband came out. She said something to me last month that really stuck. The hardest part isn't that he's gay. It's that he let you believe you had a real marriage when really you had a performance. You were married to someone playing a role. That's what hurts the most. She's right. That is what hurts. Not that Derek is gay, not that he loves men, but that for 14 years he let me live in a fantasy. Let me think we were building a life together, when really, he was just biding his time until he was brave enough to be himself. I've started dating. Slowly. Very slowly. I'm not ready for anything serious. But I've been on a few dates. Dinner, coffee, a movie. It's weird. Dating in your 40s after 14 years of marriage. I don't remember how to do this. One guy, Mark, asked me why my marriage ended. I told him the truth. That my ex-husband came out as gay. Mark's face changed. He got uncomfortable. Said he didn't want to be someone's experiment. Made sure I understood he was straight. I laughed. Told him I wasn't questioning my sexuality. I was just healing from a massive betrayal. We didn't go out again. But another guy, Steve, was different. He listened to my story and just nodded. Said his sister went through something similar. Her husband of 18 years came out. It nearly destroyed her, but she's happy now. Remarried to a good guy who loves her completely. Steve said, "You deserve someone who chooses you every day, not someone who's choosing to live a lie." I liked that. We've been on 3 dates. It's nice, easy. He makes me laugh. Doesn't pressure me. Understands I'm still healing. Maybe something will come of it. Maybe not. Either way, I'm learning that life goes on. Even when you think it can't. Even when everything you knew gets turned upside down. You survive. You adapt. You find a new normal. Last week, Derek asked if we could talk. Just the two of us. No lawyers, no kids, just talk. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. He looked good, happy, lighter somehow, like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. "I wanted to say thank you," he started, "for not outing me before I was ready. For protecting me even after what I did to you. You're the father of my children. I wasn't going to make it harder than it already was. Still, you could have, and you didn't. That means a lot." We sat in silence for a minute, both sipping our coffee. Then he said something that surprised me. "I'm sorry I wasted your time. You should have had a husband who could love you fully. You deserved better than what I gave you." I looked at him. This man I'd shared 14 years with, who'd given me 2 children, who'd broken my heart into 1,000,000 pieces. "You didn't waste my time, Derek. We have Emma and Tyler. And, yeah, the marriage didn't work out the way I thought it would. But we had good times too. I don't regret everything." "Really? You don't hate me?" "Some days I do. I won't lie. Some days I'm so angry I can't see straight, but mostly I'm just sad. Sad that you felt you had to hide. Sad that we couldn't make it work. Sad that our kids had to go through this." "Me too. I'm sad about all of it, but I'm also relieved. For the first time in my life, I'm not pretending. I'm not hiding. I'm just me. And that feels good, even though it cost me everything. I'm glad you're happy. I mean that. I want you to be happy. I want the kids to see you happy. It'll help them understand. What about you? Are you happy?" I thought about it. Was I happy? Not yet. But I was getting there. I'm working on it. Some days are better than others. But I'm figuring it out. We talked for another hour. About the kids, about logistics, about how we'd handle holidays and birthdays. It was civil, almost friendly. The anger had faded, leaving just sadness and acceptance. As we were leaving, Derek hugged me. A real hug, not awkward or forced. Just 2 people who'd shared a life acknowledging that sometimes things don't work out the way you planned, but you can still care about each other. Take care of yourself, Caroline. You're going to be okay. You too, Derek. I watched him walk away. get into his car, drive off to the life he'd chosen. The life he should have chosen from the beginning instead of dragging me into his closet with him. But I wasn't angry anymore. Not really. I was just tired of being angry. Tired of feeling like a victim. Tired of letting his choices define my happiness. I got in my own car and drove home, to the house that was now just mine. The house I'd repainted and rearranged to feel less like our home and more like my home. I'd moved furniture around, changed the bedroom completely, turned Derek's office into a craft room for me. The kids were with Derek for the week. The house was quiet, too quiet sometimes, but I was learning to appreciate the silence, to enjoy having space to think and breathe and just be. I made myself dinner, poured a glass of wine, sat on the porch and watched the sunset. And for the first time in a year, I felt something close to peace. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Dad and Jason are taking us to the fair tomorrow. Tyler wants to know if you can come too. Dad said it's okay if you want. 6 months ago, that text would have destroyed me. The idea of spending time with Derek and Jason together. Playing happy family, pretending everything was fine. But now it just seemed like a decent thing to do for the kids. They wanted both their parents there. They wanted their family, even if it looked different than it used to. I texted back. Sure, what time? Because that's what you do. You move forward. You adapt. You create a new normal, even when the old normal is completely shattered. The next day, I met them at the Power Fair. It was awkward at first. Me, Derek, Jason, and the kids. Jason was nice, polite. He shook my hand and thanked me for coming. Said the kids had been excited all morning. I wanted to hate him, this man who'd helped destroy my marriage. But looking at him, I realized he hadn't destroyed anything. He'd just been himself. It was Derek who'd made the choices. Derek who'd lied. Derek who'd built a marriage on a foundation of denial. Jason was just a guy who fell in love with someone who happened to be married. He didn't owe me anything. He hadn't made me any promises. We walked around the fair together. The kids ran from ride to ride. Derek and Jason held hands. I pretended not to notice. Pretended it didn't sting to see Derek so openly affectionate with someone when he'd been so reserved with me for years. But the kids were happy. Tyler won a stuffed bear at the ring toss and gave it to me. Emma got cotton candy and shared it with everyone. We took a family photo. All 5 of us. The new version of our family. Looking at that photo later, I realized something. This was my life now. Co-parenting with my ex-husband and his boyfriend. Creating new memories that included all of us. Finding a way to make it work for the kids. It wasn't what I'd planned. Wasn't what I'd wanted. But it was what I had. And I could either spend the rest of my life bitter and angry, or I could accept it and move forward. I chose to move forward. 3 months after the fair, I got a call from Derek. He sounded nervous. Caroline, I need to tell you something. Jason and I are getting married. My first instinct was to be hurt, to feel betrayed all over again. We'd only been divorced a year and a half, and he was already getting remarried. But then I remembered. He'd been with Jason longer than we'd been separated. In his mind, they'd been together for 2 years. It probably felt like time. Congratulations. When? Next spring. And we want to tell the kids together. I wanted to make sure you were okay with it first. Does it matter if I'm okay with it? Yes, it does. You're their mother. Your feelings matter. I thought about it. Was I okay with it? Not really. But was I going to stand in the way? No. Tell them. They should hear it from both of us. We'll sit down together and explain it. Thank you. That means a lot, Derek. One question. Are you going to invite your family? Your parents? Are they going to know this time? Yes. Everyone's going to know. No more hiding. No more secrets. I'm done with that. Good. That's good. And Caroline, you're invited too, if you want to come. I know that's weird, but the kids would probably like it if you were there. I laughed. Actually laughed. Let me think about that one. Fair enough. We told the kids the following weekend, both of them together. Derek explained that he and Jason were getting married, that they loved each other and wanted to make it official. Tyler asked if that meant Jason was going to be his stepdad. Derek said yes. Tyler seemed okay with that. He liked Jason. Emma was quieter. She asked me later if I was okay with it, if it hurt my feelings. I told her the truth. A little bit, yeah. But that's okay. People move on. Your dad is allowed to be happy. And I'm going to be happy too. We're all going to be okay. She hugged me. I'm proud of you, Mom. You're handling this really well. Coming from a 13-year-old, that meant everything. The wedding was in April. I didn't go. I thought about it. The kids wanted me there. But I decided some things were too much. I needed to draw a line somewhere. Their wedding was that line. Instead, I spent that day with my friends. We went to brunch and then to a spa. Lisa and Patricia and a few other women from my support group. We celebrated life, new beginnings, survival, because that's what I was doing. Surviving, thriving, even. I'd started a new job. Better pay, better hours. I was taking a pottery class, going to the gym, reading books. I'd been meaning to read for years. I was building a life that was mine, not tied to someone else, not defined by being someone's wife. Just mine. Steve and I had been dating for 6 months by then. Nothing serious. We weren't rushing anything. But it was nice. Having someone to talk to laugh with, to remind me that I was still capable of connecting with someone. He asked me once if I'd ever trust anyone completely again after what Derek did. I thought about it for a long time before answering. I don't know. Maybe not. But I think there's a difference between trust and foolishness. I trusted Derek completely, never questioned anything, never looked for signs, never protected myself. That was foolish. Now I'll be more careful. But that doesn't mean I can't trust anyone ever again. That's healthy, he said. Self-protection isn't the same as being closed off. Exactly. 2 years after I found that phone, I can finally say I'm happy. Not the same kind of happy I was before, but a different kind. A more aware kind. A kind that comes from surviving something you didn't think you could survive. I still have hard days. Days when I see couples who've been married for decades and I feel jealous. Days when I wonder what my life would have looked like if Derek had been honest from the beginning. If he'd figured himself out before marrying me and having kids. But most days I'm okay. I have my kids, my friends, my new life, my new sense of self. Emma is 15 now. Tyler is 11. They spend half their time with me and half with Derek and Jason. They seem well-adjusted, happy. They've accepted their new normal better than I ever expected. Last month, Tyler asked me if I thought I'd ever get married again. I told him I didn't know. Maybe, if the right person came along, but I wasn't in a hurry. Would you be sad if Dad and Jason adopt a baby? They're talking about it. That one caught me off guard. Derek and Jason wanted a baby. A child that would be fully theirs, not split between 2 homes. Not a reminder of Derek's past life. Would I be sad? Probably a little. But would I stand in the way? No. If that's what they want, then I hope they're happy. It doesn't change anything between me and you guys. You're still my babies, no matter what. Good. Because Tyler and I already told them we don't want a baby brother or sister. We said we're too old for that. They seemed disappointed. I laughed. Well, if they really want a baby, that's their choice. But I'm glad you guys spoke up about what you want. That night, I thought about Derek and Jason with a baby. Starting over. Having the family Derek probably always wanted. The one he couldn't have with me. Part of me was jealous, but mostly I was just relieved it wasn't my problem anymore. I'd done my time raising babies. If they wanted to start over, that was their journey, not mine. I have my own journey now. And it's a good one. Different than I planned. Harder in some ways, but also freer, more honest, more authentically mine. Patricia from my support group told me something last week that really resonated. She said, "You know what the gift is in all this? The painful, terrible gift? You get to rebuild your life exactly the way you want it. No compromises, no accommodations for someone else. Just you deciding what makes you happy." She's right. I spent 14 years accommodating Derek, adjusting my expectations, accepting less than I deserved because I thought that's what marriage was. Now I don't have to do that. I can date who I want, decorate my house how I want, make plans without consulting anyone, travel when I feel like it, pursue hobbies I never had time for. Is it lonely sometimes? Yes. Do I miss having a partner? Sometimes. But I don't miss being lied to. I don't miss the feeling that something was wrong, but not being able to figure out what. I don't miss accommodating someone who was never fully present anyway. Last week, I went on a date with a new guy, Paul. We met through a friend. He's divorced too. His wife left him for someone she worked with, different circumstances than mine, but he understands betrayal, understands what it's like to rebuild. He asked me what I was looking for. I told him the truth. Honesty. That's number one. I need complete honesty. No secrets, no hidden phones, no double lives. I need someone who's all in, or not in at all, he nodded. I can do that. What else? Someone who sees me, really sees me. Not just what I can do for them or how I fit into their life plan. Someone who values me as a person. That seems like a low bar. You'd be surprised how many people can't clear it. We've been on 3 dates now. It's early. Way too early to know if it'll be something. But it's nice. He's nice. And more importantly, I'm okay being alone if it doesn't work out. I don't need someone to complete me anymore. I'm already complete. That's the real lesson in all of this. The phone, the betrayal, the divorce, the rebuilding. I learned that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive things I never imagined surviving, that I don't need anyone to validate my worth. I am enough. Just me. Alone. That's enough. Finding that phone was the worst thing that ever happened to me. It destroyed my marriage, shattered my reality, forced me to rebuild my entire life from scratch. But it was also the best thing. Because it ended a lie. It freed me from a relationship that was never what I thought it was. It gave me the chance to find out who I am without being defined by someone else. 2 years ago, I was a wife. A mother. That's how I identified myself. Derek's wife. Emma and Tyler's mom. That's who I was. Now, I'm Caroline. Just Caroline. I'm a mother, yes. But I'm also an individual, a woman with my own interests and dreams and goals, a woman who survived something devastating and came out stronger. I tell my story now, to other women in my support group, to friends going through divorces, to anyone who'll listen. Not because I want sympathy, but because I want people to know that you can survive this. You can rebuild. You can be happy again. If you'd told me 2 years ago that I'd be okay, I wouldn't have believed you. I was drowning, completely lost, unable to see any future that didn't include Derek. But here I am. Okay. More than okay. Actually living my life instead of just going through the motions. The phone is long gone. I threw it away after the divorce was final. Didn't need that reminder anymore. But sometimes I think about it. About that moment in the laundry room when everything changed. And I realized that moment wasn't just about finding out my husband was cheating. It was about finding out the truth. About him, about our marriage, about myself. The truth hurt. God. It hurt so much, but it also set me free. So if there's anyone out there going through something similar, if you just found out your spouse has been lying, if your world just fell apart, I want you to know something. You're going to survive this. It doesn't feel like it now. Right now, you probably feel like your life is over, like you'll never be happy again, like you can't breathe, but you will survive. Day by day, moment by moment. You'll rebuild. You'll find yourself again. You'll discover that you're stronger than you ever knew. And one day, maybe not soon, but eventually, you'll wake up and realize you're okay. Different, yes. Changed, absolutely. But okay, that's my story. That's what happened when I found my husband's second phone and read the texts that changed everything. It's not a happy ending, but it's not a sad ending either. It's just an ending. And a beginning. The end of one life and the start of another. And I'm okay with that. Subscribe for more real stories like this.